Joel Comm Show, featuring internet pioneer, New York Times bestselling author, and international speaker, Joel Comm. Helping you grow your business, live life today, and do good stuff. Here's the man who isn't afraid of flying monkeys, your host, Joel Comm.
And that's right. Welcome, my friends, to the one, the only Joel Comm Show, kicking up the production value level here at blab.im/Joel Comm. And I'm glad you're here. Thanks for tuning in. This is your time to tweet a little bird. That's right. Just click over there to the Twitter thing on the left-hand side-ish of the panel here at blab.im, and then you could tell the rest of the world that you are online. And I've got a special guest today, and you know who it is because it says right there in the title. And I'm going to introduce him to you, and if he can go ahead and grab a seat there, special guest, that would be full of awesome sauce. And nobody else grab the seat. It's just reserved for the guest right now. And hopefully that's what you're going to be seeing when he comes on here. I guess I need to make sure he's good. Oh, I have a message from him. Let me see what it is. Hang on a second.
So I'm just walking back to my house right now.
Oh,
I should be there right on time, but if for some odd reason I don't know what I'm doing, which is probably true, do I go to your link to do it, or how does one engage in a blab?
Oh, that's awesome. So he just sent me a message on because this is his first blab, and he's not sure how to actually get here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send him the link again, and we're going to bring him in. And this is some of the fun stuff that we get to deal with when we're working with new technology. So I'm going to just make sure he has the link. And isn't this fun how this works? Okay, bear with me. And I'll tell him we are waiting on you. Super happy fun. So how you guys doing today while we're waiting for... Oh, look at there. Okay, I'm going to bring him in without the introduction just because he's figured it out and he's here. And now we're going to see if he's got the video.
Here's hope.
There it is. And we have audio.
Blabberific. Blabtastical.
It is blabberific. So, I didn't really get a chance to introduce you properly. So, and you probably didn't see the picture I had of you. So during the introduction, I'm going to put this up because we can neither confirm nor deny that this is also you.
Oh,
and
great.
My guest here is Chris Brogan. Chris explores how people use media and community to build marketplaces around areas of belonging. He is the CEO of Owner Media Group, which is a digital-focused business development and advisory group. He's a highly sought-after professional speaker and a New York Times best-selling author of 8 books and counting, including his forthcoming book called Insider: Strategies and Secrets for Business Growth in the Age of Distractionism. So welcome to the show, my friend, Chris Brogan.
How the heck are you?
I'm good. And welcome to Blab.
I feel blabtastical. This is my first blab. After I was saying to everybody how I had really no interest in this, you pulled me in. And on Mitch Jackson's birthday, the streaming lawyer himself, who's probably not around, hopefully he's doing birthday-ish things, but holy cannoli.
Yeah, and we're going up against the Sean Purry, who is the CEO of Blab, and he's interviewing I just drew a blank, but the owner of another big brand online. So what's cool about Blab is that multiple shows are beginning to come out, and it's going to give people a lot of choices of what they can watch.
Wow.
And you're going to be Blab addicted here soon, especially after we get done talking about the shenanigans we're going to talk about and open it up so that people can come in and engage with you. Because I happen to know you're all about engagement.
That's what I tell people anyway. Absolutely. I think engagement's great. I think that there's It's funny. It's such early days for all these platforms. So even though, yes, I'm all about engagement, what's really interesting, the first experience that I've had with this so far is how people are, I got a comment on Periscope a couple of weeks ago where someone says, well, he's not really engaging with me much right now. If I just wanted to watch a video, I'd go to YouTube. And I thought, whoa, this is bizarre. Like, they're making YouTube out to be like the man, like the old world or something. And it's just interesting to me. So now it's like, talk to the people. It's like, look at me. Like to me, there's a little, it just seems like we're building newer and newer tools to try to prove that we're not invisible.
Well, that's true. And the thing that's great about Periscope, Meerkat, and Facebook Live mentions is that it's live. It's in the moment. We are talking to our audience, to our tribe. But unfortunately, on those platforms, they can only engage with us by typing. Whereas here, you could see people are already engaging with typing, but shortly they're going to be engaging with you eye to eye, face to face, nose to nose, toe to toe, elbow to elbow. And that's all the body parts we're going to join up here. I want to deal with something that I know is frustrating to you, and my hope is that by addressing it, it's going to become less frustrating. And that is this whole pigeonhole of being called a social media expert.
Why, yes.
I caught the eye roll. That was the eye roll on the heavy side. Talk about that.
I have to tell you. Oh my gosh. First off, it's so weird when people dial you and you hang up on them to say like, go to voicemail. And they're like, no, I'm going to keep dialing you back. What do you suppose that means? No, I've never liked the idea of being a social media expert because I think that, to me, it seems like a weird thing to be an expert in, like being an expert in telephone usage. To me, these are tools. We use these tools to grow our business or to connect or whatever else we want to do. I use these tools to grow my business. So my goal is, how do I do something interesting, useful? How do I make the kind of media platform that I want to make? Ultimately that builds business. So when people say things like they want engagement, they're thinking what they want is comments back and forth. But real engagement is, I've given you something, I've come up with some, concept that might be useful to you. And, I'm hoping to help you in a way that I could serve you and thus, maybe earn the right to serve and sell to you. So that's kind of the goal because,
Oh, you have your ka-ching button on hand. That's very impressive. Wait, let's do them in unison. I have mine here too. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh. It's a cacophony of ka-ching. Mm-hmm. And I don't have to pitch these for people to say, how do I get one of them? Right? Because
they're so awesome.
It's just this automatic thing. In fact, I used to have my assistant ship them out, and so many people were ordering them. We just put them on Amazon. And so now they're Prime, and people go on Amazon and look for ka-ching button, and I don't have to deal with it. And they sell every day. It's just so funny. Anyway, so you prefer to be known as a business owner teaching other people how to be owners.
Yes. I'm figuring out simple plans for helping people's business success. And my whole thought is that, that goes far beyond social tools. I mean, it's an interesting time. All the platforms have, shifted their value. All their platforms have either upped or lowered their effectiveness. And, where we're investing our time isn't necessarily where it's really helpful. It's just where we're getting these feedback loops. You know what I mean? Like we're feeling this sort of candy crush with social tools now, and it has nothing to do with whether or not they're effective for our business. I just saw some woman in my little private Facebook group on the Secret Team. She was saying how she didn't hit her sales numbers this quarter, and she's last quarter, and she's worried about what she should be setting for this quarter. I thought that was a beautiful question, nothing to do with how to tweet. But then, right away, everyone's feedback to her was, well, maybe you should lower your goals. And I thought, that's not business, right? So to me, it's I'd rather work on that than whether or not your avatar should be the same on all the platforms.
Well, when I think of one of the buzzwords of our age, authenticity, I'm not like brown nosing here. You really come up in my mind as one of the prime examples of what just being completely real looks like, smells like, feels like. I'm not going to say tastes like, because I just did, didn't I?
Weird. Yeah.
And it's been demonstrated in getting to know you. In fact, it wasn't that long ago that you graciously accepted an invitation to come to Denver for our meetup, Social Media Shenanigans. And it was a great time. And unlike most events where you come and you have to come and speak and, be the dancing monkey for an hour, you got up and you talked for 10 minutes and then just had some drinks and engaged with people.
Yeah, it couldn't have been a much more exciting time for me. What's really funny is this year has, and you were most definitely one of the biggest parts of that. This year has been a lot of that sort of, hey, we could actually just go and connect. I'm reading an interesting book. I'm reading a book that I'm going to forget the title of. It is, I don't have like all kinds of graphics set up and everything. I'm not as slick as the Joel Comm Show, so you're going to have to forgive me. Thou Shall Prosper. And it's by a Rabbi Daniel Lapin, and it's talking about basically the argument about why one should pursue wealth and whatever, which is interesting, written by a rabbi. What's also very fascinating about the book is it says, there's a lot of stereotypes out there that Jews are really good at making money. The thing is, Jews are really good at making money, but not for all the reasons people seem to think. So it dispels all these myths and then goes into a huge and interesting explanation of how, from the very, times of childhood to now, like where wealth comes from. And one of the points, though I had to tell you all this to say this, one of the points was one way to work on wealth is to really extend and expand your social circle. No man is an island, no human is an island. And you don't acquire wealth by sitting around in your room being by yourself. You've really got to do a lot of work to connect with people and build relationships, and not in that sort of, I've got to go to find some people so I can ask them for money, but more like you're never going to figure out how wealth comes about if you're kind of off on your own little island.
So I believe you, like myself and many of our peers, believe it's important to just get out and explore opportunities.
Yeah, and it's what becomes tricky for a lot of people is that you get this. I mean, sometimes you get a little worn down. You get this sort of like, why am I going to this thing? What's in it for me? It never works out. Usually it's not the event that's the challenge. Usually it's you. And you have to sort of try a different approach. And so, for instance, going to Shenanigans, I mean, it was just fun. It was just a great time. And I got to talk to really smart, wonderful people besides yourself and your brother. And it really was an eye opener. So I enjoyed that experience. I enjoyed watching what you did with that event, the giveaways and all the kind of generosity that you were able to put onto people. And so it taught me something. So once again, it was this scenario where, it wasn't necessarily, I didn't sit around thinking, well, by the end of this, I hope I made $5,000. It was just like, I think this will be great. And I've seen that you've taken that approach during your sabbatical time over the last bunch of years, and you just kind of go where you go.
Mm-hmm. It's going with the flow. I think when you open yourself up to opportunity and you go where people are and you see where can I provide value, amazing, magical things happen.
That's, I think so.
So tell me what you are most excited about right now. And it doesn't have to be in the business realm. I mean, just like whatever.
Oh, I'm mostly excited about business. I'm working on my new book. So my book Insider. And I just got done with going to Donald Miller's story brand workshop down in Tennessee. And what a mind-bogglingly mental crazy event.
He's great.
So I went down there with kind of, guarded and feeling like there's no way I'm going to learn anything. And I'm just doing this because I like Don and, whatever, it'll be fun. I like people in Tennessee. And I came back just feeling like it changed everything. Like I had to throw away my book and start again. So, it's like that. But I'll tell you, it's been really exciting in general. It's been exciting because this book, what I'm trying to figure out, and you and I talked about it, I mean, you helped me with even the starting points of this book, was I was just really struggling the last couple of years with what do people need right now? Like what's really kind of sticking out there? And one thing I've been working on is underneath it all, it's kind of an economic model. But if I say that, people will fall asleep. But I figured out that the number one thing that most companies were asking me, no matter how they said it, was, if in a world where we can buy from anyone, why should we buy from you? And that's the problem I've been working on solving for companies huge and small. So it's been a lot of fun trying to figure that out into a book.
So give us a taste of that. What are some of the things you've discovered that you feel are the salient points which the book is going to then expound upon?
I think first off that, there are lots of different ways to try to make business work. And the way that we most often pursue, the way that most organizations in the world pursue is scale, right? So if I have 100 customers, that's great. If I have 1,000 customers, that's great. If I had 10,000 customers, now we're talking, 5 million customers and life's going to be great. I wish, God, it's just plain old Diet Coke. And I would say that, that's one way to make business. The other way is, if you ever read in 2005, Kevin Kelly had the 1,000 True Fans blog post, really popular blog post. Most everyone I know has read it. I think we need 1,000 true customers for a lot of our businesses. And I think that a huge business like Walmart could do this. And I think a small business like you or me could do this. We're in which we work really hard to figure out the community where we most want to serve, the people that we most feel like we can help, and what we can do to satisfy 1,000 people. And I think that in putting this book together, I've been trying to work on what's it like to feel like you're on the inside, and how do you treat people in a relationship better? How do you make relationship-based sales? And how do you let them feel like they're part of something and that they're on the inside of something? So it's been fun. In fact, one of the things I'm looking to do is start interviewing a variety of people, probably yourself included, to say, in situations where you've had to communicate with someone who is like kind of above your pay grade, so to speak, what did you do to earn that conversation? And what did you do to make that sort of insider experience? Or what kinds of insider experiences have you had? And so I think through that process, it'll be some fun stuff to learn in the book, because I think we all have that weird, I'm like an introvert. So I think there's lots of chances to feel awkward and not know how to actually start and engage with people about new stuff. So I'm going to try to help people with that.
You're an innie. I'm an outie, and yet we're cut from the same cloth. So I won't answer in depth right now, but the question definitely brings to mind, again, authenticity. And part of that means when you want to connect with somebody that's above your pay grade, it's just about being yourself. It's not trying to impress that person. It's not trying to approach them with your Hoover vacuum, suction that's like, I want to take from you. But it's about discovering where their needs are, seeing how you can serve them, and treating them like real people. You've probably experienced before. Have you ever been in an event where you've spoken and a fan, somebody who's always wanted to meet you, comes up to you and they're trembling, physically trembling because they're standing in your presence?
Yeah, it's
awkward.
Yeah, it's a strange feeling, because I always tell them I'm just like them. I pay someone to put my pants on one leg at a time. It's not all that different. And yeah, I've taken a bunch of photos where I've had my arm around someone and I feel them vibrating, and I'm like, I'm so not that interesting.
Right. Well, but people perceive. Well, we all need heroes. We need people to look up to. We need people to model after. And I don't take that responsibility lightly, and nor do I think you do. But at the same time, we don't want anybody to feel like we're more special than they are, because we're not.
No.
We just have the privilege of doing this.
Right. Exactly. It's amazing. I think we get so many opportunities to run into really smart and interesting people that it helps us remember how absolutely regular we are. When you get to sit next to like an astronaut or something like that, you're kind of like, I type. Like, I'm not all that magical.
Right. Well, I mean, basically, I don't know what you did. Well, I know a little bit of what you did today, because you went to work out. You posted a picture of yourself and said you were feeling meaty, because you're beefing up there. Mm-hmm. And I've been home all day. I made lunch. I warmed up some leftover, taco meat from yesterday. I made myself a little taco salad. I was on a blab a little earlier. I've been answering email. I spent some time on the phone, went for a little walk, brushed my teeth, trimmed my facial hair a little bit. I mean, it's just a regular day here at Comm Central.
I hear that. I really do. And excuse me, it's funny because I mean that's the really neat stuff about social platforms. You know, it's never to me about how exactly does this make me business. Is this some way that I can add to the value of making someone feel like, you know, they're not alone or that they matter. You know, one of the strongest things that seems to happen in business is we have that weird worry that we're the only one. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm the only one failing right now, or maybe I'm the only one who like didn't make payroll this month, whatever it is, right? And I think that's part of the secret sauce of what I try to offer is, oh no, we all mess up. We all have problems. We all run into mistakes. We all think something is stupid. You know, there's lots of opportunities to say we're not alone, right? And so that's what I like about this. I mean, the fact that people know that I had chest day today or whatever, you know, people ask me, why do you take so many pictures of yourself at the gym? And I'm like, because I want you to go to the gym. I want you to go, yeah, you know, he found a way to get there today. I guess I'll go too. That's all I want.
It's inspiring. It is. Well, since this is your first time on blab.im, what I want everybody to do right now, we're coining a lexicon of blab terminology. And you'll notice that the hands down there, and it's lighting up and the count's going up. And it's just a way of people saying thank you. It's called props. And a term that we have coined is called prop bombing. And it's when everybody who's on here hits props on you at one time. So everybody go ahead and prop bomb Chris right now. Let him know how much you love him. Look at those numbers flying. You are experiencing your first prop bombing.
Oh my gosh. I don't even have to pay my mortgage next month now.
Can you feel it? I mean, it's just warm fuzzy. And what I want you to do now is to experience what the full potential of this platform is. So much better than Google Hangouts. I'm going to unlock the seats, and as I do, I'm going to invite people to come in and ask questions. You know, be brief because I know we have a lot of people here, so we'll bring you in. I'll welcome you and have a chance to engage with Chris and myself. Welcome, Jan. How are you?
Hey, very good, thanks. I think you can see me. I've got this over.
You just great. Say hi to Chris Brogan.
Hi, Chris Brogan. I wish I could say that I knew who you were, but I don't. And not only that, I don't know who Joel is, except that it seems like you guys are the kind of guys that get involved in social media very quickly. There's a word for that. It's escaping me right now.
Early adopter?
Early adopter. That's it. You got an early adopter.
I was going to say fool.
I've been wanting to talk to Joel for a while, but it just seems like to me that this is an opportunity where I can get two people at the same time. All right.
Great. So, well, is there a question that we can answer for you?
Here we go. Okay. I've got a very successful business. It's called soundbroker.com. We sell concert production equipment all over the world. My clients are from the Rolling Stones, LA Philharmonic, the biggest churches in the world, you name it, we sell it. And we've been doing it for a long time. There's probably not a name that you could think of that we haven't sold gear to or have bought gear from.
Should we play Stump the Sound Guy?
No, let's not play Stump the Sound Guy. We can play Stump the Sound Guy, but let's not do that yet. Let's get to the next step. Yeah, okay, so
ask the question.
So basically, what's happened is soundbroker.com is equal Jan Landy. If you're in my business, when you think of Soundbroker, you think of Jan Landy. So I painted myself into a very luxurious corner, although it's still a corner. The other day, about 6 months ago, I came up with this idea of how to get out of the corner. And what we're doing is we're changing our business around into a membership, a paid membership. Now, I should tell you this. We're getting over 25,000 visitors a day to our website. It's costing me a fortune on the bandwidth. That's what's happening. But a lot of people come to our site just to look at the gear. So what I decided is if I can only get 1 penny from everybody who comes, I would be much more successful and be able to sell my business to somebody else. But right now, if you don't know what I know, if I sell my business, you'll go out of business shortly. And I want
Okay, Jan, I'm gonna ask you to jump to the question so we can answer that.
I've decided that I'm competing with eBay right now. And I've got a new method, and I'm trying to look for an angel to come in social media to come with me. How's the best way to find someone like that?
Great question. I'm going to let you go, and we'll let somebody in. And Chris, if you've got an answer to that, then go ahead and bring it on.
I do. Here we go. I will give you, Jan, a link to the secret team, and you can ask over 13,000 people if anyone wants to come and do your social media for you, because that sounds like a lot of fun. It's a neat project, and you've got quite a good product going on over there. So I think there's a good opportunity that someone might say yes and that they want to spend some time with you.
Shout out to the secret team.
Yeah, it's a great group. I'm a part of it, as many of you on here as well. And that link is right there in the sidebar. cbrogan.me/secret will take you there. And we're going to welcome Jeff. How you doing, Jeff?
What's up, guys? It's good to be on the blab with you guys. My first blab was earlier today. So number 2, good to see you again, Chris. Joel, heard your name a bazillion times. Nice to finally see you face to face.
You as well.
So here's my question. Chris, you and I share a lot of the same feelings on a lot of the things that are going on in Periscope and Meerkat, and I think on Blab, where people are making a lot of their money and a lot of their hype around selling Periscope courses on Periscope, or, writing Blab guides to sell on Blab. So, I've watched a couple of your Periscopes about it, and you've been pretty harsh on the Periscope. I don't know if you've changed your mind on it, but how do you see in the amount of time, we've been in this for a long time, how do you see the longevity of things like Blab or Periscope sticking around, or are these flashes in the pan?
I think these are the meta tools or something else, just like so was, a bunch of other things that came before it. It's a really good question. I would tell you that my absolute simple formula for this right now is get in, get whatever value you can, and get out. Do not set up a house here. Just, learn what you're learning. Joel has already rushed in and established this show format that works really, really, really well. And he is picking up subscribers in a way that he wouldn't on any of the other existing platforms. Translate those to the list, get out. It's all going to be fine. Just wait for the bombs, But I think that, we all went, maybe you didn't go through Seismic. I went through Seismic. I went through a lot of other platforms that did this kind of thing and died. Hey, Google Plus for Business. Who wrote that stupid book? Oh, yeah. So I guess,
we have a winner.
I guess I can tell you that, nothing is forever. And if you Google and put hundreds of millions of dollars into a platform and then quit, I guess you can't presume that something like Blab or Periscope or anything is just going to be there for tomorrow. Okay.
Right. Well, yesterday what I did is I actually streamed Periscope, Meerkat, and live Facebook mentions on 3 different devices at the same time. And while I was doing it, occasionally I held up this sign and told them, this is where I'm going. So meet me over here where we can actually talk. And it's not just me talking at you, because talking for an hour just yourself, I woke up this morning and I was invited to a Blab, and I got on and they said Joel's got morning voice. It was trash. So leveraging the platforms to drive people where you want to go is powerful. Tim, welcome to the show.
Joel, thank you very much. Chris, hello.
Hey Tim, how have you been?
I've been good, just sweating, and now I'm trying to worry about a little hurricane coming up the coast.
I saw that. Good luck with that.
Thanks. If you watched the Weather Network or saw their post online today, apparently the Erica has taken a shit to the east. A little bit of a spell check problem.
I saw your Facebook mention of that.
Okay, so we're going to go back. You're pre-2000 when it comes to online, and you've seen everything change. And I don't want to talk just social media, but you can't really miss it nowadays. In your opinion, what has been the most drastic change that I've seen it be all about engagement and building relationships, and then marketers seem to really rip that apart, and we're seeing it come back now through video. How are you finding that transformation or transition, and where do you see it going?
It's a great question. I'll tell you my opinion. I'd love to hear Joel's as well. My friend Chris Garrett was the first person I ever saw say this. So in my mind, he's the one who coined it. But he says, this is why we can't have nice things. And my point is that any marketing platform, any platform where a bunch of eyeballs are going to gather up and look at us, is something we're going to do and malign and take it apart. So I think that, we're always looking for some way to build marketing or advertising around attention. And so that's where these things go wrong. I think live is going to be tricky for anyone, any of the big kids to want to play with too much, unless they're, like a Red Bull or somebody like that, where they're like built to be a media company. So any of the companies who aren't necessarily media minded, there's going to be a kind of a short window on live. Now, I think, I keep saying that live is the dumbest thing that's ever come along. I mean, that's why we have DVRs. That's why we have Netflix. Like nobody was like, what would be great is 1983 again. But I guess that's where we are. So I'm interested in your point on that, Joel.
Betamax, baby. Well, look, we're consuming media differently now, right? I've canceled my cable subscription. I just get digital TV on my television, and I watch Netflix when I want to, and I watch Amazon Prime. But I've started, along with Vincenzo Landino, doing an evening show called Blab Talk Live, and it's a late night show, and we're discovering that people are watching us instead of Netflix. They're sticking around. They're watching. They're in their PJs, and a bunch of them. We did a survey last night. They're in bed. They don't want to come on and talk because it's dark, and they're in their pajamas. They're in bed watching and engaging with the conversation because the things we're talking about feel more relevant or more entertaining to them than the same old rehash stuff they're getting there. So. Disagree. Circle gets a square, and I think live is here, and we're going to see some pretty cool stuff happen. Two points of business here. One, please don't get offended when I kick you off after you ask your question. We're just making room, and then you can listen to what Chris has to say. Number two, go and tell a little bird. Everybody go ahead and tweet over there and let people know that we are live with the one and only Chris Brogan, and we're going to welcome Mr. Brian Basilico to the show. How you doing, Brian?
What's up, Joel? How are you, man?
It's all about the bacon, buddy.
It's all about the bacon. Hey, Chris, nice to see you face-to-face finally.
Hi, Brian.
How you doing? So anyways, first off, I want to let you know I was at a pre-conference session with Dan Morris at Blogging Central, and he said hi.
Blogging Concentrated.
Or Blogging Concentrated, thank you. Yeah. It's been a long week, man. So he said, hey. He says, like, hey, Joel? I said, yeah, I'm going to one of his blabs today. So anyways, my question for you guys are, since Blab is tied into Twitter and then you've got the Facebook streaming at the same time, do you think that the Twitter audience is going to be more open to this than, say, the Facebook? Because I see short attention span theater over in Facebook, where Twitter seems to be a little bit more engaged, especially since you have tweet chats and stuff like that. What do you guys think?
Great question, Mr. Brogan.
Gee, I've had the opposite experience. I find that Twitter is, oh, look, squirrel. But I find that, none of the platforms are working, especially for fast real time, So I find that it's a scenario where, in my world anyway, Joel's training people to show up here. I would probably send it to my email list and let them know. But, Twitter does, it's really shifted uses. I mean, we used to want to be there to have conversations. Now it's kind of like an alert system. It's really like the little red notifier now. And I think that that's how people will use it.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I'm discovering, Chris, is that this Blab platform is reinvigorating my Twitter because a lot of tweets are going out, and I'm watching on Twitter counter the number of followers I'm getting on Twitter is increasing just as a result of being here. So I think that's kind of cool.
For sure.
Zane,
hi.
You're on. What's the
Thank
question
you.
For Mr. Chris?
Hi, old friend. I just wanted to welcome you, but I do have a good question because I quoted you today, Mr. Brogan. No, but it was good because when I was early in the space, not even really working it yet, but just about to, I heard you say during, I don't know if it's Blog World or NMX, it was one of the summer ones, and you said, find the person who can love and put them in front of your business in social. And that was circa 2009, right? So now that it's 2015, I was listening to Brian Fanzo and his podcast today, and it's the same thing. How do you hire? It's so much more diverse now. It's about the strategies of not just that, right?
Zane, you're having some issues with your sound and giving feedback. So great statement. Fully agree. Do you have a question?
Yeah, the update of that, that's the premise, is what changed. So what would be that same answer today to that, who to put in front of your business?
So a lot of social media
Zane.
managers no
Chris,
longer
before you answer that.
Okay, go ahead.
Before you answer that, just if you guys have a question or just want to say hi, make a comment for Chris, we've got the seats open. Feel free to jump in. Good, Chris, as you were.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would say that a lot of the social media managers I know don't have that job anymore. That's one thing I should tell you. A lot of people who had social media in the title of their job now work at Best Buy or somewhere else. But, you know, that I never once said that we should have, you know, exactly a social media management team. I talked to companies about when they put together their social media team, they should use their customer service people for it because that's who usually cares the most about the company. I can tell you that, you know, should one want to use the social channels as part of their business, and I think they should, they would want to have a much better relationship with marketing, sales, and customer service than they ever used to. Because like I've said since 2008, it needs to thread back into the main part of the business. It cannot be an island. Anytime you use these tools as an island, we run into some real trouble. So to me, that's the challenge there.
You know, I have to concur with you. And Magic Brad, I want to see if he actually brings the magic here, is coming on. Hey, Brad, how you doing?
Greetings.
Earthling?
That's debatable, right?
Where are you joining us from today?
I'll jump right to the question. The question was Chris's book, Trust Agents.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that like it took this long before let me rephrase that a little bit. It's really hard to trust people on Facebook when you don't know who they are, when they won't show their face and they're hiding behind their profiles and things. Don't you think that something like this live streaming has really closed the gap on that trustability, if you will?
It can if people choose to use it. I think that what we'll find is that if you thought it took years for grown-ups to go to Twitter, it's going to take even longer for them to go to something like this. And one reason is that they're going to worry about their look and feel and sort of the stage setting of their space. The other is that they're going to be worried that they're going to be tripped up. I'll tell you, I had the opportunity and pleasure to interview Sir Richard Branson for his first Skype-based interview. I couldn't use the video because he was so nervous the whole time that, you know, it was awful video. He gave great answers. It was just clear that, you know, he didn't know me from anybody, and he ran 400 companies, and I don't give anyone my questions ahead of time. So it was a dangerous scenario for him. So I can tell you that I don't think it'll be that different for other people. So you're right that, Brad, that people could make great use of this to really connect and show people who they really are. I think it's going to be hard put for people to do that sort of, I don't think people are going to rush to this platform. I really don't.
But what we are discovering, Chris, is that people who do come here, I mean, I just saw in the comments your first reaction, and why don't you go ahead and just state it so that those who might listen to replay. What do you think so far of Blab?
So Blab versus Periscope, I'm reading. So far, I dig Blab more because of the people elements, but I think it's Joel who helps this. I mean, the fact that you're kind of curating this experience is probably one reason why it works. I'm sure that every Blab doesn't feel like this, just like every Periscope doesn't feel like this.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're finding other people that have a propensity towards broadcasting are jumping in. People like Steve Dotto, people like Mike Stelzner and Brian Fanzo, and a number of others that are going to help evolve how this platform is used. And, and we're talking with the team at Blab, Sean Purry, who's the CEO, and Furkan, that's the CTO. And we're finding out all the new features that are coming. And pretty soon there's going to be a control panel down where the audio control is that's going to let us play a video embedded into the Blab. So now we can do show and tell and play video clips. So people are going to get really creative here. And from across the pond, I want to welcome Samantha, the tweeting goddess. How you doing?
Hello, Joel. Thanks for getting me on. Hi, Chris. Nice to meet you.
Your goddess.
Hi, Jeannie. No, Joel, I have to say, Chris, you're right. I think the secret here with Blab definitely is getting the audience participation and reading the comments and giving people a chance to ask questions. And that's what I love about all this. And then you're right, Joel, my Twitter following is shot up. Well, it was already kind of big anyway, but it's really increased. And I'm making all these cool new connections from Blab. It's wonderful. Yeah.
Great. Well, great comment. Appreciate that. Is there a question you have for Chris?
I just joined in the Blab. Chris, I just followed you on Twitter. I was wondering, how have you built up your following so high?
I started in 2006 when I was user 10,212. So that's one way. Two is that, a lot of nice people have put me on a lot of nice lists, but not ever there's an official one. I've never been on that, but a lot of other nice people have me on their list. And I was kind of an early adopter, so much so that people just needed to think they had, I don't know, they felt like I knew something they didn't. And all you have to do is read about 10 of my tweets in a row and you realize I don't. But I guess that's kind of how we got there.
Yeah, you never know at the beginning of something what's going to happen, right? So somebody asked me recently how I see myself, and my answer to them was I'm a guy with a pail and a shovel looking for a sandbox to play in. And if it's interesting enough for me to try to build something there, I go, okay, this is far enough away from the surf. So I feel reasonably safe here, but I don't know. Is the sand going to be sticky? How high am I going to be able to build it? Is somebody going to come and step on it? Is a bully going to come step on it? E.g. Apple, after we built a platform before they came out with their game connection platform, we built it, then they came along, made their own, and they stepped on it. So the sandbox, what I built wouldn't stick. And so here we are playing in the Blab sandbox, the Bladden box, yeah, whatever. Digital Marketing Genie. What is your name?
Jeannie.
D, welcome. How are you? Jean. Oh, Jeannie. I get it. Jeannie.
Yeah.
Didn't Bowie do a song? Yeah. Jeannie.
So I don't have I just wanted to say hey, and I feel your pain, Chris. I also wrote a book about Google Plus, so
sorry.
Yeah. But I feel your pain, so I just wanted to say hey.
Glad you did. Welcome to the Google Plus graveyard, because there's plenty of books there. And I want to welcome the co-host of Blab Talk Live, the show that seems to be taking on its own evening personality, Mr. Vincenzo Landino. Say hi to Mr. Brogan, who's over there.
Hi, Mr. Brogan. How are you, Chris?
Okay, everybody else, quick, get in your PJs and get in bed.
Wait.
Whole different show.
So Vince, anything you want to ask of Chris?
I just wanted to come in and say hi to you guys. I was just hanging out here. I didn't even really want to come in. I was just listening to all the knowledge being dropped.
Cool. All right.
Actually,
we'll drop some more.
Here. No, I will ask Chris a question. Might as well. Chris, is this officially your first time on here?
This is it. Blab Cherry has been broken. I'm no longer Blab Virgin material.
Joel is totally popping all kinds of Blab cherries lately, and I'm glad.
Mike Stelzner.
Stelzner's addicted.
Wow.
I want to know, Chris. Are you going to get addicted?
No. Nope. Nothing surer than that I will not be addicted. I like the process. I think it's kind of neato, but I can tell you that it's, I don't know. I think you folks have made a great process and a great show. So keep going.
Is this, how different is this to you in your opinion? Because a lot of people are asking, how does this compare to, say, Periscope, Meerkat, all those like mobile live streaming apps? And I think they're completely different. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And again, I just jumped in the show, so if you guys talked about these things, I apologize.
It's all good. I would say that.
And I'm going to boot you while he's answering, Vince, and I'll check a little later.
Vince. I think Periscope, because of it being solo, although Sue Zimmerman has done the coolest hack. I don't know if anyone else has, but she has her monitor behind her and she Skypes somebody, and then they're both on screen at the same time. So she's kind of hacked. I can't remember what she calls it, like Skype scopes or something. But I don't know. I already can tell you I like the tech better on Blab. But, remains to be seen. I don't like either of them the best.
Well, it's a different beast. It's apples to oranges. Again, one is one to many, and this is, one of the reasons that this is not a typical podcast interview is because we have the ability to say, hey, come on in. Let's all have this conversation together like we're doing here with Trish. Trish, where are you joining us from?
I'm joining you from Manhattan.
Ah, the big Apello. Well, welcome. What do you have to say to Chris today?
Chris, just thanks so much for your conversation. And what I wanted to bring up is I consult in business, but I also touch education. And I'm wondering, when I'm looking at this, what are your thoughts? What are you thinking about how this kind of platform would cross either, higher education or into public?
Well, I use Skype a lot to Skype into different classrooms. I get to talk to different professors all over the country and world sometimes. And so I can see Blab being fun because, of course, you could put together an expert panel with no one leaving their house. So I think there's some kind of fun opportunities there. The other is just that, you know, any kind of multi-platform communication sort of thing like this, especially with mobile involved, it means that you can have like, you know, feet on the ground kind of scenarios. Like all us weirdos are all still sitting at our desks, but you know, should Blab get ready to make an Android app for me, then, you know, I could have been blabbing from, you know, some big important news thing that happened in the ocean or something.
You know, I love that you always have just this little contrarian position. And we need that because we don't need yes men, yes men, yes men everywhere. You have your own take and it's real. And Kevin Poles, how you doing, brother?
Hey, Joel. How you doing?
Good to see you. Say hi to Chris.
Chris, nice to finally meet you.
My pleasure.
I've known Joel for a better part of 6-7+ years now.
Yep.
So,
we go way back.
Yeah.
There was that time that you loaned me $5. I will get it back to you.
From the time when I bought everything that you ever sold.
Well, I appreciate
because
that.
You know I'm such an evangelist.
What would you like to say to Chris?
Well, how about this? And I'm new to this because I'm not a smartphone guy. So everything I do is PC based. So no Meerkat, no Periscope, no nothing. I'm just an old school, as you can tell how old I look. I'm just PC. How would this platform compare to, say, Google Hangouts with respect to someone who wants to create a training course, right? Because as Joel knows, I'm writing my first book, and I'm using Google Hangouts as my platform. It's a video one-on-one interaction, so that way I can strip the audio, it gets transcribed, and then use the video as an upsell to the actual, you know, transcription. If that makes any sense. Versus, you know, right now, not familiar with this. This is my first time I've ever come across.
All right, well, let's let Chris take a stab at it.
Yeah.
It's his first time, so I'm not sure how deep he's going to be able to go, but thanks, Kevin. I'm going to bump you and let you listen to the answer. And Dave Cox, I want you to jump in here. Go ahead, Chris.
Kevin, if you're doing this for just the audio, I think you're going way too above and beyond. I would use Skype, and I would use, well, you're a PC guy, so whatever the call recorder for Skype is for PC, probably Fanzo will know in a second. But if you're doing the video stripping as well, then I would still stay with Hangouts on air. I think Blab is fine. It's made for a different format. It's not unlike what Tom Webster says up above. It's great if you've got a nice host, but if you're using it to record course materials, then I would say just kind of deal. I think you'd be good. That's my thought.
Just testing.
We're getting
Pamela for PC. Sorry.
So Drew will get to you in a second because iSocial fans, the millennial who is the tweeting madman, tweets faster than anybody I know, is with us. Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you? How's everybody doing? Hey, Drew, how's it going, Drew?
Brian, can you hear me?
Let's see if Drew's sound is working.
Yeah,
Drew, say something.
No. Is my sound not working again?
No, you're good.
Nope, you're good. You're good. So I'm going to mute you until we
Perfect,
get
Brian. Nice to see you.
done here.
Nice to see you. How's it going, Chris?
Hey, Brian, how are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for the shout out on your email newsletter last week. Much appreciated.
You're my favorite person to defer to now. Anytime someone asks me any question that's about social anything, I'm like, just ask Fanzo. He knows.
I know. I feel like my last two Forbes mentions.
Ask Fanzo. It used to be Ask Dad. He knows. Now it's Ask Fanzo.
I'd buy that domain.
Ooh, quick. Somebody's snagging that domain right now, and they're going to sell it to you, Brian, for $5,000.
They probably are, which is pretty funny on how that works. No, I love it.
I love your shirt, by the way. I want to turn up your bass a little bit.
I know. It's a bit of a revolution. OAR is the name of the band. It's their shirt. I'm always seems to be promoting.
Awesome.
But I got a question for you, Chris Brogan, from a standpoint of, you know, I actually liked what you said. I was surprised Mike Stelzer recorded his podcast on Blab yesterday, which blew me away because I didn't expect Mike to embrace this. I've recorded and uploaded my last 3 episodes using Blab only, right? But from a training perspective, you are the guru training. I was on a Blab earlier today. We were talking about creating training courses. What role? I would love to hear your thoughts on live video aspect of training courses. So I know that training courses are sustainable, but curious from a live video aspect, where can we integrate live video in classroom training? And like they say, I'll listen off the air.
So the one really good application for that is that you can, you can set sort of office hours and do, I'll do 3 live little bits a day or something like that. The reason I don't tend to do that is because I show people the fact that you can use online training as a way to not have to be someplace live. It's a way to kind of extend out and let people learn on their own time. The minute you put live back into the case, they can't be on their own time anymore. They're showing up for, appointment viewing. So it's already bedtime over in the UK. Everybody's quite asleep even further east than that. And it's, early day still over in California. So, you know what I mean? The world is in all different places. So I'm not a big fan on live, but I guess we can do it.
Well, Ian Cleary, is with us still in the chat room. He's getting all tucked in over there in Ireland right now, and it's probably dark in his room. But it's funny because he's going to join us in a second here. But let's hear from Drew while we're waiting for Ian to come on.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Great.
It's
dark.
So,
it is dark.
There you go. Hey, so if you weren't using Blab, because it seems really cool in terms of just its simplicity and the fact that the sound worked this time for me is a huge help. But what would you be using instead of this?
Nothing. I'm not a big fan of live video. I don't think live is an especially sexy thing to me. I think there's times where it can be, and I think that there's ways that you can make it sexy. Joel and his Vincenzo make a great live night video show or whatever. But I think that, most of what I want to do is to make it so that you can consume it when you want it. So, I'm not a big live video guy yet, but I keep coming to these things for entertainment value. I keep coming for these things to see Fanzo and Cleary tell me I'm wrong. So that's all I'm here for.
We're bringing sexy back. Oh yeah, you're listening to KBLB Radio with Joel Comm. And now our next guest with a special question coming all the way from Ireland is Ian Cleary. Hey Ian.
Ian McCleary. I was
Ian McCleary.
Well,
Ian McCleary.
I have a funny story about my Twitter address is Ian Cleary was gone, and my middle name is Michael. So you have Ian M. Cleary. So everybody used to call me Ian McCleary is here, and Ian McCleary's in the house. So
well, it works.
I had to buy my Twitter address so people wouldn't call me Ian McCleary.
So Ian,
Chris and Joel.
Are you in your pajamas?
No, t-shirt, boxers.
So no footy PJs.
No. What I see.
we believe you.
Okay, good. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm the best. What's
Good.
not to love?
Good.
I'm as great as Lewis Howes.
Oh, you got the book. I didn't get one yet. Lewis, where's my book, Lewis? It hasn't arrived yet.
Is Lewis not listening?
No,
What's
he's
going
not
on?
here right now. He's busy being great.
He's scoping.
Yeah.
Bet you scoping.
He is. So, Ian, any profound thoughts or questions for Chris this evening?
No.
I want there to be a flick tool. Like right now, I can click the X button and say goodbye. But what I really want to do is have gestures.
Oh, just
yeah.
Okay.
Do this. He just goes.
Or, no,
Boom!
swipe. I'd love a swipe.
Okay.
Just go.
Here we
Swipe
go.
people off.
Here we go. Oh, swipe. Boom. It worked. There we go. That worked great. And Ted, welcome to our Blab.
Hey, guys. How you doing? I hope you can hear me.
We're looking for Chris's book on your shelf back there. I don't
know. I mean, actually, he was showing me Lewis Howes, and I was like, do I got it back there? I'm not really sure. So you were talking about live and not liking it, liking it. So to frame it, I like it for interventions, because I work with entrepreneurs and help them find breakthroughs to grow to the next level. That's really powerful because it gives a wow factor to it. And frankly, I haven't done a lot of this. I usually do that live because my time's precious and I charge them for it. I could see this being kind of cool. And I want to thank Joel. I would have never been here if it wasn't for you, brother. I didn't think about it, really wasn't caring much about it. But I knew I needed to find a cool way to get that distinction out there. So live for me is an opportunity for an intervention. So how do you really allow someone to bring their biggest challenge they have, solve it on the spot, But I'm new to this game. You know, I haven't been really good socially. You know, we used a radio. Old partner of mine passed away a couple of years ago, Chet Holmes. We used a radio like crazy. We had 12,000 COs calling in each and every single month, and I'm exploring new medias to do the thing we're great at. Do you have any suggestions for things that do use live well, but it doesn't have to be on a media spectrum where the whole world's looking? It could still be one-on-one or one to a few.
Well, I mean, obviously coaching, small level coaching works really well in something like this. Any media application, like you say, I mean, using it like a new radio is perfectly fine. It definitely can be, something that you can use in that method. I think that, there's a lot of ways that this can be useful. I mean, you could use it for internal comms. You could use it for team meetings. I mean, think about how this replaces, the $4,000 polycoms. Raymond says in the comments, have you heard of webinars? It's definitely in that same flavor. The reason I don't use them is I think that I like webinars because I like getting people's email addresses afterwards. So, it's still not the platform for me, but there's, like Johnny points out, there's a lot of other ways that we can use this, and my ideas are just mine. You can definitely have opinions. They're free.
Well, that's the beauty of this. So many choices that we have now, whether it's video streaming or blogging or the social sites, or not using any of it, going outside and meeting people at events, or just being by yourself and doing your own thing. We're free people with free will and the ability to choose what we want for our lives. I do this because I love this. This is my bailiwick. Put me on and let me communicate. Let me introduce cool people to my tribe. Let me build my tribe so that I have an opportunity to share more with them. And it's like saying this is my sandbox, but it's not going to be for everybody. It's just not. So, I want to respect your time, Chris, and I'm going to lock down the seats. I appreciate all the questions that have come in, and parting thoughts, inspiration, wisdom, or just a funny joke for those that are still with us.
Well, I'm grateful for everyone who gave us their time. I mean, it's definitely interesting. I'm also happy that, one of the things that I do love very much about this, and also Periscope and all that, is I get to run into people who have never met me before and don't know the first thing about me. And if you don't think that's valuable, that's the coolest thing in the world, because my gosh, there's such a, bubble going on in our universe. So I think it's great anytime I get a chance to see people I know and love in the stream, but also when I get to meet new people who get a chance to form an opinion of me, good or bad.
Absolutely.
To me, I don't care if you don't like me. In fact, it's better then you don't have to go and check out my other stuff. But Joel, this was great. Thanks for letting me be part of it.
Absolutely. And Chris, where's your favorite place for people to connectify with you?
My newsletter. So go to chrisbrogan.com/NL. And one of the coolest things about my newsletter is you can always just hit reply and it goes right to me and I will write you back. So test me on that and I will be very happy to deal with that.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate you. Thanks for joining. And those of you with us, replays will be available. The podcast will be uploaded to the Joel Comm Show on iTunes. And tonight, and maybe not every night, but tonight it is Blab Talk Live with myself and Vincenzo Landino, 9 o'clock Mountain Time, 11 o'clock. You're in bed on the East Coast, and that would make it 8 o'clock on the Pacific Coast. Thanks, everybody. We will catch you later.